Hi, welcome. Welcome to Robot Academy and MakeBlock and xTool. Welcome to our STEAM on Board event. We are so excited to have you here. We have a lot of really cool things to show you. We're going to show you how to make a Lego factory, but basically how to use xTool and robotics to work together to do very cool things, and how to make things out of acrylic, such as my earrings right here. So very happy to be able to share this with you. I am Gail with Robot Academy. Robot Academy has been providing STEAM for schools, STEAM education, and products for schools for over 17 years. We are the US distributor for xTool and MakeBlock. And so we are partnering together to provide this STEAM on board for you right now. So with Robot Academy, we have taught a lot of brilliant people who have gone on to do very cool things. In fact, we're going to Princeton graduation next week for one of our graduates that is going to be an aerospace engineer for SpaceX. So we're really happy to be able to help our students get very excited about STEAM. For Robot Academy, like I said, we provide robotics, laser cutters, and engravers to schools nationwide. We also provide curriculum, including video curriculum for schools. So we've had previous seminars where we've talked about that, and we'll be showing you how to use our CyberPi, our robotics today with our laser cutters. We have a lot of people joining us today. We're very happy for that. So this is a webinar right now, so you can put your information in the Q&A and we'll be answering any questions. We'll also have our presenter Ed answer any questions that you have. We are going to wait a few minutes for some other people to join us because we had a lot of registrations. We do have fun prizes today, so stay with us. We'll be giving a prize after the M1 demo. We'll be giving a prize after the P2 demonstration, and then at the end we'll be giving out several more prizes, all valued up to $500. So stay with us for that. Anyone who does attend today, they get a 5% off discount coupon. So that is Laser5, that discount code for all new orders through Robot Academy. For xTool and MakeBlock. So that's a special benefit for you joining us today. So thank you so much. That's US only. This is a worldwide reach for our webinar. So, but for US, we can offer you that, and any purchases that you do, you also get a materials package. So depending on which machine you purchase. So that's also a special benefit. So thank you for joining us, and we are happy to help out. So again, we are the national distributor for MakeBlock and xTool. So what that means is that we match MakeBlock and xTool website prices for you. So if you see any prices, they love to have sales, things like that. We can match any of that. We can provide any products that's part of MakeBlock and xTool offering. And we ship from the MakeBlock xTool warehouse in California. So we get that question a lot. We also have a Robot Academy warehouse in Ohio. We also have offices in Florida. Most is shipped from their warehouse though. Some of the reasons that a lot of customers come back to us again and again is that we can accept purchase orders. So we work with a lot of schools, a lot of major companies. We also are able to provide tax exempt quotes. So that's real handy too. So we work with a lot of charities, companies and schools. And then we also offer a military discount. So I want to let you know those type of things too. And your presenter today, Ed, he also offers xTool coaching. So that's been extremely popular with our customers that have bought our xTool machines. So that means that he'll help you with, a Zoom, one-on-one Zoom type session to kind of help answer any questions, get you started, or help you with any problems. Also available on text to help you with that. So that's really great as an opportunity, and we'll be giving away 2 of those free today. So again, stay tuned for that. So Ed has been working, has decades of experience with advanced and emerging technologies at corporate companies, also has been helping with, he has a BS in computer science and has been working for large companies and also has his own company. So this is Ed with Robot Academy, and he is going to help you do a very cool demo today. Yeah.
All right, and if I refer to Michael, that's because Michael is producing and doing the camera work. So he's also here with us. We have a lot of cool stuff to go over today. And if you could give us a shot, first I just want to show you the gear that we are going to go over that's right here next to me. We're going to get a little bit of a close up here for a second. Is we have the large unit behind me is the new P2. That's people are just getting their first units. This is one of the first ones stateside. And we're going to show you a bunch about that. And we're going to compare and contrast it with the one that we've had for a little while now, which is the M1. So again, this is the P2, the CO2 laser. And then on the right there, we have the white unit, which is the M1. And we're going to talk a lot more detail. Obviously, I want to just give you the picture. And then that project in the front of the M1 is a school project, a STEAM project that we've done for you. And we're going to show you, we're going to talk about how we did that. And on the front of that is the Cyber Pi unit, which is a little controller that is going to do things in that project. And we're going to show you a little bit about that and some things that you can do with it. And it's actually the brains of the MBot 2 robot. So let's just delve into kind of the different differences and things about these products. Let me stop my share real quickly. All right. Actually, I'm just going to show you something different here. While we some of this, the reason we're showing these side by side, honestly, well, one, obviously the P2 is brand new, so everyone's excited to hear about that. But these are both of the what I call the enclosed safe designs. There are open format products as well, more used in a workshop. But this is an open format design in that, I'm sorry, closed safe format design, meaning that this, when this is being used, you can't open this door. This has a shut off on it on the M1. If you could go a little wider there, Mike. On the M1, you can see this, that'll beep and stop working if you're doing that. So it's very safe. There's no laser light issues. You don't have to wear glasses. All the laser light is safe. And like I say, with the P2, it's even safer because it literally, you cannot open that door if the device is in use. So what are other similar things between them? So they're both good for classroom and office use, home use. And they can do some similar things. They can both cut wood, they can both cut acrylic, they can both mark stainless. And we're going to show you, I'm going to show you a slide here of really a machine comparison. You should see on the share now. Let me zoom this up a little bit for you. Now on the right-hand side is one we're not really going to talk about today. Another new machine from xTool is this very portable handheld combination IR and diode laser. The green one on the right, that's also available, but we're really not talking about that today. We got the M1 on the left, the P2 on the right. One of the unique things about the M1 is that it is not just a laser cutter and a laser engraver, it's also a cutter. It has a blade cutter for cutting vinyl, fabric, paper, etc. I have an example of one of the things I did with it here. I'm going to show you my document camera. And you'll see, here's some die cut stickers that I did. You can see these. I literally printed those stickers and then cut them with the M1. Okay, so that's unique to the M1 product, that laser cutting. So delving more into the M1, it's a lot lighter. It has a 15 by 12 base and only weighs about 22 pounds, so it's pretty easy to deal with. It can cut 8 to 10 millimeter wood, depending on the type of wood, and 3 millimeter acrylic. So the project that we did, all this wood was cut on the M1. Just tactile. Should I pause my screen share so the camera view is bigger? How's that look to the viewers? Yeah. Pause my share. All right. I just wanted you to see what I'm doing a little bit better. All this wood was cut out on the M1. Now you could cut this on the P2 as well. And, it's all cut out of sheets of basswood, which is just a special, nice, soft wood. And then it's assembled with various components. This has the CyberPi and an ultrasonic sensor and a servo motor in there that, we're going to talk about a little bit more. What else do I want to tell you about the M1? So I want to show you a couple of really cool things. I'm going to show some of the things that the M1 can do. Here is something I just recently cut on the M1. And it's pretty easy to align it. This is a product that we hadn't used before, and I got that to line up right the very first time. So, oh, sorry. All right, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen there so you could see that. You can see this keychain. So this is an engraved item. Very easy to align. One of the cool things that these units share is the auto focusing and the detail at which you can align things. So like I said, I zoomed that in. I'm going to show you how I did that really quickly. I'm going to bring up the xTool Creative Space software. And you'll see this is actually a picture of the inside of the M1 device, a live picture of it. And I want to show you a couple examples here, specifically of how easy this is to do. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Whoops. How about zoom in? And if you look over, I'm going to show you that I was able to use the standard settings. Both this software, xTool Creative Space, works good with all these products. And I was able to use a standard setting. A lot of the materials you can use standard settings here in the software. I'm doing flat engraving. It also supports cylindrical engraving. So both units do, using the RA2 rotational add-on. And this can, like I said, this can also do blade cut and print and blade cut. We're just doing laser flat right now. But what I was able to do is use a standard product. All the xTool standard products have the settings all built in. So I used a standard setting so that it picked the power settings that I wanted to use for this particular wood. Okay. The power and the speed. And then I was able to also do an auto measure. This is actually not the standard product. So I used the standard product power settings, but then I want you to see how easy this is to auto measure. This is actually probably going to measure it a little bit thicker. And now when I burn it, I have great confidence that this is going to line up great. Okay. So it actually has a laser. I don't know if you can show it, Michael, but this, when you zoom in here, for me inside the unit, I want you to see that actually inside the unit. You can't see it from here. That is the inside the unit. You can see the object, and the laser light shines on it, auto measures it. You can, so it's just very, very simple. There's no manual measuring required. You can zoom way in to align this stuff. And as I said, I got that one that you're seeing on the camera the first try. So other things I want to tell you about the M1 real quickly. And Gail, let me know if we have questions that are relevant specifically to the M1.
Answering the questions right now. So if
awesome.
anyone has questions, just put it in
specifically about the M1.
Gail.
Gail's going to handle those. If we don't get to all of them, I know Gail already said we'll get to them later. Autofocus photo materials. We're not actually going to cut anything on this, but all this that I showed you, all this parts for this gadget we're going to show you, this STEAM project, were all cut on that. Okay. So that was what I was going to share about the M1. Moving on to the P2, we are actually going to cut a few things on the P2. So the P2 is a much larger format, 26 by 14. It can cut 18 millimeter wood and 20 millimeter acrylic. Now, one of the big advantages of this is this CO2 laser technology can cut clear and translucent acrylic. So we're going to cut some blue translucent acrylic quickly here at the end of this section. And we are going to also engrave on glass. So both of these units can engrave on glass. This can engrave on untreated glass. In the diode laser technology, you need to mark the glass to get a good engraving with a marking material. and then clean that off after the engraving. And there's some things to learn there. It works very well. But if you were going to do high volume glass, or if you need to do translucent or clear acrylic, you would want to definitely look at the P2. So I forgot we were going to do a drawing. So actually, let's take a second and do a drawing before we get into the stuff about the P2. And let me know how we're doing on time and questions. All right, so
great on time.
All right, great. So I want to show a different screen. And here we have the wheel of names. Now you can't see that your name's in there really, but believe me, it is 135 of you in there. And we are going to give away, the first thing we're going to give away is one of the xTool coaching. Gail, you want to tell them what that includes? Okay, actually, I heard her already say that. It's xTool coaching. It's a one-on-one coaching, kind of a kickstart call with me to go over things. For example, we had somebody who they just didn't have the distance right. They didn't have the base incorrectly to cut what they were trying to cut the very first time, and the height was wrong, and they couldn't see the engraving. So in that coaching call, we got them to learn how to use the sticky pads right. We'll talk more about that, to learn how to use the honeycomb that you need to do when you're burning acrylic and wood. Walk them through all that, help them get the settings for their first project. And then we'll provide some ongoing communication that you wouldn't get if you didn't have this this xTool coaching from Robot Academy. So that's what this first prize is for. And here we go.
So you must be present to win.
Okay.
So when he calls out your number or name, then just, okay, Joe 2,
Okay, now
congratulations.
So Joe 2, there were some duplicate names. We have so many people. Joe 2 is heartlandengraving@gmail.com from Indiana. So that is who Joe 2 is. So congratulations on that. We're gonna remove you from
if you could just chat back with us, Joe, and let us know your address and email, we can send that to you, the xTool coaching. So congratulations. If he doesn't contact us by the end, then we will
we'll redraw that. Yeah, we'll redraw that. Okay. All right. So let me share some more stuff. So we're going to talk about the P2 a little bit more. I'm going to open this up, and I want to show you a couple of things we did on the P2 specifically. Let me get back to my document camera. So one of the coolest things is how well it can do on translucent acrylic. Now, if you can see that, it's very translucent. And the diode lasers cannot cut this, but the CFD laser it's like butter to it. It's super fast and super fun. So I thought, well, if it can cut that, how small can we go? So we made them, these are earrings, called Mandela earrings. And then here's a smaller one. And here's an even smaller one. Zoom this out a little bit. So we're going to show you that. Here's another cool thing we did on it, which we're also, if we have time allow, we're going to do as well, is you look at this metal business card. So this is coated metals. Both of these units are wonderful at coated metals, anodized aluminum and powder coated metals. They're very good at it. So the P2 is just going to be slightly faster. So that's a metal business card. I have some other examples of powder coated metals that both these units can do. This is a powder coated coffee mug. You can look at the, hold it still, you can see. Zoom out here, zoomed in a little bit. I am not. You can see there. Pretty cool. So it's just removing the powder coating. Sorry, it doesn't really like how close that is. There you go. You can see that. That was done on the diode laser. Actually, it's much faster to do this kind of engraving because to interact with the steel, the diode laser can, this is a steel engraving, stainless steel engraving on the diode laser on the M1. The P2 would do it better and faster. This takes a lot more time because you have to slow it down. Just wanted to show you that capability. And obviously wood, you've seen wood cutting. Here's some wood engraving. Sorry, I'm putting things upside down for you. It's all backwards to me. Here's a metal. There's a stainless steel tag. Again, that's done. It's a doggy tag. That's an ID tag. And I engraved the back of it too. That was done on the diode laser. So you can do that without any marking materials, just straight up engraving. So all those things done on the diode laser. The acrylic here that we showed you is only on the P2. All right. So let me get all this stuff out of the way. And any questions on the P2 so far?
We have a question about the settings for the P2, the standard settings. So they're kind of looking through that, wondering when they're going to add more.
Yeah, so they continually
settings.
add more settings, but I think the thing is you can use the user-defined materials, and like I did with that wooden thing I showed you, I just borrowed their settings from another similar material and then adjusted it. You're always going to want to test things anyway. On the, have an item that you're going to test with various power levels and speed settings to see what the laser needs to do for you. But they are continually adding approved products in there so that you know the settings. Okay. But again, I say you're still going to have to adjust things, because maybe if you're using a sticky pad or you're propping up or you made a jig to hold things, because you're going to make 100 of them, your settings are going to be slightly different. So you're going to want to run your own tests. Okay. But I think the settings are pretty good. If there's a specific material that someone has a question about, that would be excellent, because there are so many different material specifics that come up, individual products and projects, that it'd be nice to get a specific one. So let me show you. So we're going to go back to the software, and I wanted to show you again. So this is us talking to the M1, right? So I'm going to change machines, and I'm going to connect to the P2, and you should be able to see my software screen. Good. I'm going to switch device. It's the same software, and so once you learn how to do some stuff here, you're going to know how to do it. So I have the M1 connected via USB. The P2 can connect via Wi-Fi and hardwired Ethernet. So I'm waiting for this to switch over. I have this connected on Wi-Fi. Just waiting for the device list to show up.
While you're waiting, Robert said that he's interested in solid walnut and mahogany settings. So
solid walnut.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, once this refreshes here, yeah, the walnut should be in there. I know the P2 can cut 18 millimeter walnut. So, and I'll bring those default settings up here. And there is a materials compatibility page on the xTool website that might be a good reference. Maybe we can respond to you with that specifically. And this is a question because you already have a device that you're trying to use, or you are looking at one of these devices.
He already has one.
Okay. 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 We have a little glitch here. Hey, Michael, so can you take your Ethernet cable? Sorry for technical moment here, but these are technical products. I switched from Wi-Fi to hardwire so that to provide better Zoom experience, but now I can't see the P2, which is on Wi-Fi. So just take your Ethernet cord and plug it. We're going to plug it into the side of the P2. Is that okay?
It shows that P2 right there.
Oh, it did show up. Okay, sorry. It just took longer. Okay, thanks for that. Sorry for that. Okay, it's just warning that the parameters are going to change because the machine has different capabilities, right? So if you have a project open, it's going to change the settings when I change machines. So now I am connected to the P2, thank goodness. And so it changed that. Now I'm going to change projects. I'm going to go and bring up project that we want to talk about. And I think I did say too that if you look at the bed of the P2 now, you'll see that it has these bars on the bottom, and we'll get a close-up of it when I'm showing you something else. It's basically rails inside the machine, so that when you're burning wood, you're cutting wood or cutting acrylic, it has good airflow underneath. And so I did want to show you that, is that the M1 doesn't have those rails, but what you do is you use this honeycomb insert into the M1, and you'll see I actually have these magnets mounted with it. These magnets help hold it on, and this is an example. This is one of the pieces of wood we cut out for the project, for the STEM project we're going to show you. So this provides the circulation underneath so that you get a cleaner burn, and use that along with the air assist. So once we burn, we're also going to turn on, in the M1, we would turn on the air assist and the air purifier. The P2 has a built-in air assist, meaning airflow to keep the laser path clean of smoke and residue and bits and pieces of wood. That's built into the P2. It's an add-on to the M1. And then with both of them, you'll want the air cleaner. I don't know if Michael, if you can just show them a quick view of the air purifier, which is down on the floor. It's a very nice HEPA unit that it has casters. It's very solid. And I've moved it to the P2 here. And you're going to want that when you're burning wood, and definitely when you're burning acrylic. So anyway, that's a little example there of what we already did for that project. It took, by the way, to burn that project, 4 pieces of this plywood, this basswood, and it took about an hour on the M1. So you could do that faster, a little bit faster on the P2. But again, you'd have to change the settings. So this project was designed for that. So that's why I did it that way. All right. So what I want to show you is this little project we did for when you saw this card already. I'm going to put it in the, I want to put that xTool card that you already saw under the document camera. I'm going to refresh the P2 and show it to you. So this is actually going to take a live picture again of what's in the P2. The P2 has dual cameras and has an ultra close view. Now you see, you can't really see that because of the lighting. Michael will give you a little bit better close up there maybe than my share can give you. But I am going to zoom in and show you something really cool with the P2. I'm going to say capture a detailed view, and I'm going to point it at that business card, and it's going to zoom in, move the laser over, and take a close-up shot of that so that I can zoom in and align things really, really close. And it just takes a second for that image to capture and send it through Wi-Fi and all that. So while it's doing that, I'm going to grab another accessory that I want to show you. Is that you'll definitely want some of these. Is that these are the sticky mats, the cutting mats, and you need this to hold things still. Okay. When you, for example, with the wood, the air assist blows things around, so you might want to hold things still. Definitely, if you're doing fabric and paper and stickers and stuff, you have to use these. But we're gonna use this sticky mat just to hold everything still. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in here because I don't want that card moving around. And one of the great things is too is that you can line things up really nicely. So I'll get that pretty straight there. I'm going to wipe it off, wipe my fingerprints off of it. And okay, great. And now you can see, I'm going to zoom up a little bit. If you can still see my share there. I don't have the card quite straight, do I? So let me straighten that out a little bit. Really sticky. All right. I think that's better. Now you can see that really good view. I'm going to close her up, and I'm going to click refresh to get a fresh picture. And all right. Oh, thanks. Okay. I think our Wi-Fi is a little slow. We'll plug this in next time. All right. So now you can see we've got a view of the card in there where it's straight. A little hard to see what's on there, so I'm going to again ask for a close view. You see, I got something else. I've got that thing out there. Something else I'm going to show you in a minute. We're going to capture close view. I think we're having some Wi-Fi lag is what we're having here. Okay, so now you can see it very, very close. So you may have seen the demo on the xTool website where they actually engrave on a toothpick. Now I haven't done it, that detailed, but I will show you another example shortly of something that's really, really fine that I did. But I want to carve something on here. So first of all, I'm just going to make some. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm just going to make some text. Just to give you an example. And I'm going to say that discount code that you all want. All right. And get a little bit smaller. You see it's outlined right now. It thinks I want to just score it. I'm going to change that. You can nudge it. You can see the software is really easy to use. So do that right there. I'm going to change that to engrave. And I have coated metal as my selection. So I'm going to go ahead and do a measurement. Again, auto measuring. This is going to do a quick measure. I put the object right in the center of it so that you could see, so that the auto measuring would be the best. It says it's only 0.5 millimeter thick, which makes sense. And then I can also do a detailed measurement where I can tell it that section just like the close-up picture. Okay. And it'll let me plop it right down on top of here and give me a detailed measurement. So it'll run the laser out and it'll get a detailed measurement up close and just enhance it. And it's thinking about it 1.7 millimeters. So it thinks it's a little bit thicker. That's because I have the item plus the pad. So this is where the default settings don't always work, because the default settings, they don't know if I'm just laying that on the base. I like to use the sticky pads. So I am going to delete this. Let's put it over there. Why it's not. There we go. All right. It's going to generate a little preview. We're going to also turn on the air cleaner. We're doing metal. You don't really have to do it with metal, but we have the air purifier, so why not? Why not take off those fumes? So we send the file for processing. Now all I've got to do is hit the button on the front of the P, on the top right of the P2. If it was the M1, there's a button on the front. Now you're going to see it. I'm going to turn off my share, so you can see a bigger picture of it. Yeah, as I said, the M1 is great at doing this coated metal as well, anodized aluminum or powder coated steel. Much faster if you're doing promotional items to sell at school or for your business. You can do a lot more items in the same time frame, as opposed to doing a steel marking on steel.
We do have a question about comparing the D1 Pro to the P2. Okay. As far as engraving this and engraving a picture. Matt has that
in terms of great, in terms of, is the question about engraving like a photo?
He said it's excellent engraving pictures. How would the P2 do with that photos?
Yeah, so it can do, I haven't experimented much myself with actually doing photos. It does require, a lot of testing, for example, because of the different materials, especially if you're going to do wood. The sap and the humidity of wood, the settings are going to vary from the standard. And obviously, if you're engraving on something, a piece of wood that you have, it's definitely a user-defined material. So, all right, so you can see this door is locked, by the way. I can't open that door until it clicks. That's me wiggling it, trying to open it. And then you'll see it's gonna click here in a second. There, it's done. I can open it up. You can see in there what it did. Give them a zoom in. That took 1 minute 43 seconds to do that. I could have probably done it with faster settings. I use the default. If the quality is more than acceptable, and I could put it on the document camera, but you see there, you see the little laser aiming light shining on it in that view. That's it. So I'm gonna just, sometimes there's a little bit of dust on it. I'm just gonna wipe it off a little bit, and then I'll show it to you up close. Put my share back on. All right. So here on my share, that was the xTool Creative Space software finishing. You can see in the right-hand side, 1 minute 43 seconds. I'm just going to say okay. And then I want to switch back and show you so many windows in my document camera. So there you go. Mike, does that look right set up to the audience? Okay. Okay. So you can see there, and I'm going to move it up a little bit for you just to show you how fine that is. Actually, let me let the camera move for you. Getting a little glare. Very fine detail. You can't get finer detail, basically, than that. An example of a more detailed version of that is this. Is a business card I made for one of our other, what's that? There you go. Also upside down, sorry. So you can see the detail which it can do. Okay. So I will say one thing, a comment is that the dot size, the fineness of the engraving like this is slightly better on the diode laser. It has a finer dot. So that might matter to you if you were doing a lot of this in fine detail. But the power of the P2 is very cool. So we're going to show you that other power in just a quick second. I think I want to take a break. We're about halfway through and do another drawing, if that's okay. And before we get into our next little P2 project, there we go. This is for another xTool coaching pack. And our winner is Steve 1. Again, we got duplicate names. Let me see who Steve 1 is. Thank you so many of you for joining. Steve 1 is Steve Rabdani, toughbuilt.com from California. Congratulations, Steve. And again, as Gail said, if Steve is not here or he's left the building, then we will roll that prize again at the end. Okay. So another cool thing I want to show you about this, about the P2. Let me see. I'm going to turn off my document share just so you get a better camera view. And I want to show you this glass that we did. Okay. So this is just a straight pane of glass, just as a demonstration, and we carved some stuff on it. Michael will get a close-up here on the laser in a second, but this is just regular glass. This requires no pre-treating at all. And I will show you the document camera then. There we go. Yeah, Mike, can you zoom in here so we can show this? I'm going to go ahead and leave my sticky pad in just because there's no need to move it. Well, actually I changed my mind because it'll be easier for you to see the glass. Now, thanks. So doing glass, there is a standard setting for it, and I'll pull that up in a second. Well, I think I'll just let you see the machine. Now I want you to see the software, so we'll go back to sharing. Back to creative space. All right, so we're gonna connect the device. For some reason, it went away.
We do have a few questions. Do you want me
Okay,
to
great.
ask? Sean asked, she wanted to check the calibration of the new P2 that arrived yesterday while using Creative Space to attempt the calibration. She does not see the test function referenced in the video. You have to switch to developer mode to accomplish this, or to a new location. So, and also we have those links to
I'm
be able
gonna
to test it.
have to follow up on that separately from the meeting, okay? Because we're kind of running out of time here.
Running out of time. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll get back
So-
to you, Sean, about that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so I'm gonna. So other things about the xTool. Let me show you while we're waiting for this to reconnect. Oh, there it is.
Jeffrey's wondering,
right.
are the designs on the computer or in the cloud?
Are the designs on the computer? Well, they're wherever you want to store. I actually have them stored in OneDrive, just because that syncs from my desktop to my laptop very easily. So I have a folder I created for this meeting in my OneDrive. It very low resources required. So you know, yeah. So I want to show you. So I'm showing you the document share, but we'll follow up with you on that calibration thing. I want to zoom in and show you a little bit here. So we're just going to, and partly I'm doing this because I want to show you how easy this is. So I made that laser 5 thing. I mean, obviously you can see the word congratulations that I put on there. That I engraved a couple days ago, but I want to show you live to show how easy it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and redo this and do something smaller just because we're running out of time, and say congrats, like say it was more casual, and just leave it at that font, or we can pick a different font. Pick something fun and maybe make it a little bit larger. And laser flat, but I got to change it from coated metal. I'm going to change it to glass. You can see I've already used that. So it's going to go to the glass setting, and it's going to assume it's 4 millimeters. Pretty good guess. But I'm going to do a detailed measurement. Why? Again, just because I want the best settings I can. If I click on that, it has power settings built in for glass. I'm going to turn them up a little bit because I want it to be a little bit bolder. But at first I want to do a detailed measurement. So detailed measurement is another reason I have the tape on there. So I can drop it down. And you can't see the laser on the desktop share, but you can in the camera maybe. It goes down and gives a detailed measurement of that glass. And also just because this work is translucent, I need to see the glass. That's another reason for the tape. I use a painter's tape that's just like has just like a Post-it note stickiness to it, so that it's easy to peel off and move around. And sometimes if you're just trying to put something on a remaining area, you definitely want to mark that out. So I'm going to turn this power up to 20%. I can just type it in here actually. And then I'm going to leave the speed at 300. And that's it. So it's good enough where it is. I don't need to frame it or do anything like that. I'm just going to tell it to process. It shows you a preview. And there's a whole cool framing process that all the machines support as well. We get to. So then I just press the button and off it rolls. You're going to hear a lot of noise. And I don't know if Mike, maybe you can get a little bit more of a top view there. To show them that in motion. And got here. Any other P2 questions, Gail?
Well, yeah, and we have 15 minutes left, so we want to make sure that they show them the Lego
We got to get to the
factory, too.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get to the
So-
project. While it's doing, I do want to show you one other thing real quick. Just I'm going to minimize this guy and show you on the document camera the another thing, great thing we did. So not only can the P2 cut acrylic, this is 3mm, 1/8 of an inch, a translucent acrylic. It also marks it. This is just with no special tricks or tools. This is the first time I tried a barcode. This barcode goes to our xTool page on our website, and it worked the first try. And it comes out a little dusty. You wipe it off with a rag, and it looks perfect. So Phil, you probably could scan that on screen, although you might have a little glare here. But the other cool thing about it is I thought, well, let me see how detailed this is. I had burned this, engraved this right on the edge of a sheet, but not quite to the edge. So I went and trimmed this, cut this square out as a separate step, and was able to trim off a 32nd of an inch on that right border at the edge of the sheet to make it match the left side. So very, very, very specific when you get into that detailed view and get in there and place something. It's placed where you think it's going to be. So let me show you. I'm going to stop the share so you can see a bigger version and show you the glass. And it's a little bit different than what I clicked the wrong thing when I was in the software, and you'll see I actually burned the laser 5. I forgot to delete the laser 5 that we burned on the card. So instead of doing the congrats that I wrote right there, I had the other one selected. Whatever. You can see this is, if you can hear that, it's very strongly etched in there. Okay, can you see that on there? Yeah, let me put it against the black. Yeah, you can see it there. And it's very scratchy, very, very, it's on there for good. Okay. And it only took a minute or two. All right. So the one last thing I wanted to show you was really cool to show you how well this does acrylic. So I'm taking some acrylic, I'm peeling off the protective sheets here. Again, this is always a little, most people don't do live demos like this because little things like that happen with the lasers. And this should hold still by itself. But since I'm cutting it, I can't use the sticky sheets, right? So I'm going to use a couple of clips to hold it still. These clips come with both units, the magnetic ones I showed you on the M1. I'm just going to hold the front of this down. Just the corners of it down, and partly just because I want to show this to you. And these rails are all removable. So there. Okay, so that'll just hold that still for us. Okay. Put that in there.
And this is how you
Now-
do the earrings that I showed you earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
You that joined us in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
So
you
now
can
I'm
do
gonna
this for your school logo or a company logo, something
Yeah.
like that.
So I know it's way up at the top of the machine. I'm going to burn it down here at the bottom of the sheet. So I'm going to mark it like I showed you. I'm going to put some paper here at the bottom so that I can see that. Okay. I just want to make sure I can see that good in the camera. Okay. And get right down at the bottom there. It's not sticking very well. Let me get a longer sheet. And this will just help us see the bottom of that sheet clearly when we're in the camera view. All right. All right. Back to creative space. And this is our last little thing. It's getting us a new picture, but we're going to go open another product. Going to go open another project. Nope. All right, here's the wing earrings. And this is just a standard project that came off of the xTool website. Okay. All right, now I got to read there. Took another picture there so you can see how it's a little harder to see the translucent items. So I'm going to make these a little smaller, but I can see the bottom of my sheet there.
Cover of.
You're just seeing what?
We're not seeing the acrylic.
Oh yeah, you can't. That's why I put the tape there, because it's very hard to see in the dark in the camera to see translucent items, right? So I'm going to lock that size, okay, and make them just slightly smaller, just because we're running out of time. All right, and I'm going to come up in the upper right hand corner, and what kind of material? 3mm transparent acrylic.
Why don't you show your computer screen so people can see that?
Oh, I apologize. I thought I was. Thanks, Gail. Sure. Yeah, because you can't. It's not very interesting looking at the outside of the thing. So here's the. But I know it's there. I can see the edge there, and I can see the bottom tape that I put on just so I don't run over the edge. Now I don't have to do any special measuring on this because this is the software knows the machine I'm using. It knows the material I'm using. They're standard, and I don't have to measure anything because it's in the base of the unit. So I'm not going to do a test measurement. I made those a little bit smaller. I'm going to use the standard things, and I'm just going to say process and go. It's going to give me a little preview here, which I really don't need. All right, we can see it there on the sheet. And we're going to send the file. Okay. Now, while that's going, I am going to do another drawing. Is that okay, Gail? Because we're getting long time. Oh, I'll talk about the project actually. So Mike, can you zoom me out so I can show the project? Thank you. I want to show this guy. So what's really cool about this is, and Mike, if you could get in a little bit closer so they can see the computer. So what we did was, again, we cut all this out on the M1, as I said.
You may want to do that on the M1 instead of on the P2, because
okay. All right.
My precious.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The glass, the acrylic's done engraving already. So the CyberPi is the code, and I have the code up to show you in a second. Let me stop my screen share again. Is it okay to leave my screen share up, Gail?
Yeah.
Okay. The instructions that we can give you is, this is a candy machine. It's called a Christmas candy machine, hence the fireplace and the chimney that candy's coming out of. But we decided to change it, and you see we made it called a Lego machine, and on the front it says Lego. Well, when I put my hand in there, it's going to dispense these Lego blocks instead of candy. Whoops. We need bigger Lego blocks, but it's going to watch the ultrasonic sensor, and then it's going to open the gate just briefly, and it changes the display for us. It changed the display, excuse me, to enjoy. So it says Lego, it reads the sensor, gives me some Legos and says enjoy, and then it's in a loop. So it's such an amazing thing that kids can learn to do this. You can program in the block mode, or you can program in Python 3. I'm going to bring that program up to show you real quick. So here's the program. If you look at the main line over here on the right, I'm going to grab it. It sets the candy machine settings. It displays lights on the front of the CyberPi. Close the servo, and then does this loop constantly. And you'll see, if you can see the details there, it's still called Santa Claus and Candy, but we just changed it, the sprites to display Lego stuff instead, just because we have a lot more to do with Lego robots than with giving away candy. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. There are some other interesting things I could show you, but again, we're running a little long. There's a
They're wondering, Can the coding be done in C? And it can be done in C++. They're also wondering, back to the P2, can it work with the Lightburn software? And it does, so that's good.
It definitely Lightburn, yeah. The
Yeah.
M1 does not work with Lightburn, but the P2
Wood.
does. Yeah.
Another question, Jeffrey had the question about doing a batch, when you were showing batch mode, batch of 50.
Oh.
Then do you need to allow a break or something for the laser to cool down? Like you've done batches with the P2 and the
Yeah, I have not found. So I have a picture I want to show you about batch mode. We can take a moment and do batch mode. I just want to see if anybody had any more questions about the project. The default, I don't really know the C+ option, the C question answers. We'll have to get back to that, but the default is block mode. And then we can also do it in Python 3 for usually for older students. But we just came in here and changed it. It's pretty simple. You just download it to the unit. It's Wi-Fi capable and Bluetooth capable. It's really got a lot of great stuff within this little unit. Obviously, it's battery backed up. It's got battery on it right now. It can connect to light strips as well. It's just a great little project. There's lots of things they can learn. And then if you look at this, when you design these files, you like here's a little graphic that will show you kind of the process of what these cutting files look like. Is that, sorry, it's taking a second to open. Thank you. Is that if you look at this, the files are, in this example, are given to you for the students, intended for younger students or introductory situations. But in one file, you can see here that it has the scoring and the cutting, and they're indicated by different colors, the blue colors, the layer 3. You can have multiple layers on this thing. And so it does all the scoring, which is the brick design you see on the product. And then it goes back and does all the cutting. Okay. So we actually just added a couple more parts that we wanted by just adding it in the blank space around here. But the cool thing is then you take it to the next level and the students create these cut files themselves. Okay. They have to decide and measure and figure all this stuff out of how all these parts are going to fit together. So it's not just putting together a prefab thing, but we did that for you to show you one of the projects. And then anything else with the projects? I do want to show a couple batch mode things real quick. Any other questions there, Gail? I'm going to say okay on that.
We can answer the questions directly.
Offline? Okay, because we got to do our
minutes.
giveaways. And I do want to, the batch mode thing is pretty cool. So I want to show you a picture real quick of when we did the macaroons in the M1.
Yeah, so it can even engrave food. We engrave macaroons for a thank you gift for a shower. So he's going to show you where he did do it in batch mode for that. So
yeah, so here comes pictures of it. Yeah, so here you can see the laser beam on the one, and these are, you know, like 1-inch thick macaroons, and the diode laser is basically caramelizing the sugar on the top of it. Okay, and here's a few different pictures of it. There it is inside. I just use a piece of paper there.
So that's in the
wax paper. That's in the bottom of the M1.
It is food safe.
Yeah, and that was a batch mode that we did. There's just a couple more views. They're showing the M1. The M1 in this case is on a riser to give a little room below it. When you engrave taller things, you need a room. You can see in that picture that the platform is a little bit below the base level. So I have the base off, which just comes out. Usually you keep it out for a lot of reasons. And then the riser base allows you room to descend into it so you can do larger items. If you're using the rotary tool to engrave those tumblers like we showed earlier, or anything round, that's you're going to want to use that riser base. And
we have a question. What setting did you use for the cookies?
Oh, I can email you that if somebody wants that. I don't have time to pull that up right now, but I saved all those files. And so this shows the picture of the riser base. And here's a little picture of the actual cookie going. There you go. But yeah, I can definitely send you those pictures. Again, the settings I used are going to vary from what you might use, because it all depends on the color. So if you pick a darker color, you're going to have to go darker with your burn. Okay. The first couple, I burned them a little bit. Okay. So, you know, you're just going to have to try. A bummer, I had to eat a couple macaroons, you know, it's no big deal. Even the burnt ones tasted good. So let me show you a batch mode thing, because it is really cool. So that was a batch mode after the fact, but I do want to show you the P2 batch mode. And then we're going to do our drawings, and I think we're going to be done. All right.
Yeah, they're asking though, with this, lots of questions about cookies. So would this work for different
Interesting.
heights, cookies of different heights?
So the cookie has to have a smooth surface, right? Because you're engraving in what's there. You're not putting anything down on it. You are just the laser's interacting with that frosty, sugary topping. Okay, so the macaroon is unique that it has a kind of a glazed, I don't even know the culinary term for it, but has a nice smooth glazed type of frosting on top. Anything like that, if you had that on any other kind of cookie, sure, it would work. But like soft frosting on a cake, I don't think that would work. You just have to think through those materials. Just like if you want to engrave on, if you want it to be made out of acrylic and you want to engrave on it, you want to mark the top of it with designs, way easier to do that with a P2. Okay. But if you just need to cut acrylic, you can do that on the M1. If you just need to do you know, wood, you could do it on the M1. So you just have to think through the materials. That's one of the main things we can help with in a pre-sales call, actually. If you book that with us, which you can do through the website, is talk through those materials questions. Because it may be that you think you want to do it on metal, you think you want to do it on acrylic, you think you want to buy this machine, but maybe the combination for your use case is slightly different. All right. So I've got you guys can see the earrings thing up on the screen. I'm going to show you the earrings real quick before we go on to the other thing. So I'm just going to kind of, am I on camera? Yeah. I'm just going to kind of tap these to bust them out, and they're going to fall down below. And I'm going to show another feature I can show you too. Is this has a really cool tray that you can pull out to get anything that you drop. All the little bits and pieces that fall out when you cut things. So these are the ones we just cut. And I'm going to put them in the document camera so you can see them. And it is very clear and very precise, those cuts, aren't they? Yeah, a little different angle there. Yeah. And it's very fast. You saw it just took a couple minutes there. You get a little bit of a glare off of it there, but you can see what we did there. So let me take this out, and I'm going to show you something fun. I'm going to do an xTool logo one. Back to XCS. All right. So here's this one you saw I opened earlier when we did our glass test, just thinking about it. It's just the xTool logo crooked. Well, why did I do that? Well, I was thinking that it would look cool if I did the on these tags. I have these tags somewhere. It's another little key tag thing. Just waiting for it to refresh here. So I don't know if you saw me, I'm putting little key tags, different than that key tag I showed you before. This is like a little tag that you would put it on a gift. Like a little thank you tag. So you can see I've got those tags all over the place. Now I'm going to take this xTool logo.
This
and
is the
just
one
put
that comes with a lot of the materials package. Now we're out of time. It's 3
Okay.
o'clock.
I'm just going to show this real quick. So you can see I'm going to put that on there like I'm going to make a tag for xTool. And it's really cool. I'm going to say Smart Fill, and it's going to copy that onto all the other tags. So it's pretty sweet. And there's no reason why they all have to be straight. It just copied my design. Now, once in a while, depending on the color of material, it might make a mistake. But it generally is very, 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 very good. All right, you just have to have a good contrast between the back and the front. Okay. Any questions about that? Let me know.